Hey everybody, I was going to be doing a YouTube live video on my first disc golf dyeing experiment, and apparently I hadn't verified my account yet, and they told me you gotta, like, I get the automated message that it's going to take 24 hours before I can actually do live streaming, and so I figured I'd just come here and do it as a Facebook stream, and I'm also recording it so I can post it on YouTube a little bit later on. So at this point I haven't dyed any discs. I've never done this before. All I've done is I've watched different things on Instagram and on YouTube on how to do things with shaving cream and spin dyeing, which I can't really get all the materials for, glue beds, cream, lotion beds. And so what I'm going to be trying today is a shaving cream bed. So I've got shaving cream here and some water to dilute it with. I've got my lovely assistant, my wife, Julie, here, who's going to help me with things that I forgot, like a spoon to stir it all with, and a ladle spoon kind of thing. If you could grab those while I'm just getting everything else going. I'm trying the iDye Poly. I've seen stuff on the internet that says don't use RIT dyes, and so I went with iDye Poly, although since I've seen that, I have seen people doing really cool and successful things with RIT dye, but it seems that RIT dye needs to be left in longer. So people using RIT dye seem to leave it in for like 24 hours, whereas 6 to 10 hours is more than enough with iDye Poly stuff. So I've got the iDye Poly still in the package with the powder, and I've got some different canisters for holding the extra ones. I'm trying to keep this fairly simple and inexpensive, and so one thing we have a lot of around the house are icing bags for decorating cakes, and some tips and the couplings for that. So I'm going to be using that. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking this Star Mako 3 that I've had for a while, and I'm going to be dyeing this and giving it as a gift to my wife, which she now knows because she's in the room as I'm saying that to her. And I'm going to use a design using two colors that I've seen on YouTube, where it's concentric stars moving out in two different colors, and so I'm going to use the iDye Poly green and purple for that today. So the first thing that I've read about or watched is I have to get a consistency of shaving cream and water. So first I'm going to use up my leftover old shaving cream, because now I got a big beard and I don't need shaving cream anymore. That is an awesome sound. But now it's sputtering. It's a brand new can. Okay. Oh yeah. That'll go much faster. Okay, so the stuff online says that what you end up trying to do is mix in water so that it gets a different kind of consistency. I forget the words that they use to describe that consistency. Milkshake, thank you. That it'll kind of come off of the spoon. And there's no measurement that I've seen anyone use with that. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that, and I don't know that I'll follow it exactly, but I'm just going to go with what feels right. I'm noticing the water settles very much quickly to the bottom, and so there is quite a bit of working in to get the shaving cream to pick it up. Maybe a little bit more. The way they described it was it would slide off of the spoon once it was all mixed in well, like a milkshake.
Depends what kind of milkshake you like.
This is true.
My milkshakes don't slide off the spoon.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure I burst a lot of blood cells in my head trying to suck like Burger King chocolate milkshakes through those little straws they give you. Kind of feel like this is good to go with. You know, that's one of the things in looking at this stuff online is I find that it's it varies depending on who you're talking to. My mixing base for this is actually a kind of a toy level ultimate disc, and so it's going to be big enough. I am working on a workspace that I'm not worried about getting dirty at all. Because of the iDye poly, I am going to be using rubber gloves for my hands. I need to go over to a bigger spoon to scrape out the rest of this. I hope I've got enough in it.
Looks like plenty. You're gonna level it, aren't you?
Yeah. Got a ruler here for leveling it. I've converted over part of my sewing room for this. Thank you. That all into the corners. Kind of feels like cooking. And I think I'm going to have a little extra. Actually, I might need the bowl back to scrape the rest into. I want to flatten it out enough that it doesn't seem like there's any major divots before I use the ruler. That's the ruler. And here we go. See what happens there. And I'm going to come back and fill in some of the divots. Now because there's like, this isn't a stencil dye, I do want to try stencil dyeing. I'm not really worried about a lot of irregularities in the surface of this. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Well, especially if you're dragging through the pattern, it's gonna be irregular anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Just quick in case I have to handle this a little bit more. Nice thing with this is, yeah, I'm getting it all over my hands and stuff, but I mean, it's just shaving cream. Okay, so the next thing that using the video that I saw is putting some shaving cream into the bags. Well, not the bags. We need to mix it with some of the iDye poly. In the video, they used fresh shaving cream that hadn't been cut with water. So I'm probably going to keep to that because I can imagine that there's like a texture difference. So I'm just going to put those into some paper cups. I picked up. Opted for that, and we've got our green. It comes with a color intensifier, which I'm assuming you use if you're doing an actual mix. Got the purple. Here, let's put the color intensifier over there. So for example, I've got the black and I know it's got the color intensifier in there, so I'll be using that when I do a stencil dye. I'm going to be doing a vector drawing of a face of a friend of mine. They don't know yet that that's really happening. Now that's interesting. There's some loose powder that kind of fell out of the thing when we went to do that. This really should be the point that we move over to this. Oh, you know what I'm realizing is we probably want a couple of plastic spoons for mixing the dye in there. So if you want to get a plastic spoon, 2 plastic spoons and a plastic knife. All right, so we got the fun stuff here. And I've got, again, those containers here for putting the extra powder into. These things are designed to make a liquid, and so the containers will actually dissolve in water. So I don't know really how much to do there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the purple in. Make sure that we're clean and clear here before I touch the green, because I don't want like purple stuff getting into the green. I'm working on a surface that I don't really care if I get dye on the surface that I'm working on. Thank you. The powder all comes out looking black. Purple starting to come through here. Really being careful too to trying to keep it in the cup as the dye is mixing in. And I'm just going to keep going until I really don't see any more swatches or streaks of white in there. And I'm not really noticing a lot in the way of little speckles. But again, because of the style of dyeing that I'm doing, that wouldn't be a huge problem. Should I add more?
No.
No?
They said it gets more intense once you dye it, so that's plenty dark.
But I'm thinking about volume in terms of what it's going to be like inside the bag for a series of...
more shaving cream.
More shaving cream?
I thought you meant more powder.
Okay.
Yeah, sure, more shaving cream.
So this is interesting. So one of the things that I'm noticing is that in doing this, I did get sprinkles on here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I'm not worried about
to it.
it. It'll just add to it. This to be the artistic effect. So one of the things is maybe get everything else prepped beforehand.
Let me know when you're ready to move it over to the bags. I can hold the bag open.
I will appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I've got some darker purple and some lighter purple in here. And this is one of these points you might want to put on some rubber gloves as well. Step on it and give it a good snap for the camera.
Putting on the gloves.
The viewers at home really like that. Alright, so grab one of the bags, and then this is going to be what we go with. So we'll use the spoon, I guess. Let's try to stay up here on the camera. It doesn't matter about it sticking to the bag at the top and having to be pushed down, right? To get a clean entry.
That's fine.
So this idea of using the bags for making icing This is not something that I've seen done anywhere before. Our family just knows cake and icing.
Didn't put the coupler on first.
Oh, that has to happen first? You're the cake person, not me. Well, in theory, we can still do that because the icing or this hasn't been pushed down yet. So the coupler has to be put on, but not necessarily. Oh, I see what you mean.
The coupler goes down here. So
and has to go in the bag.
We would have to totally empty this out again, which we can do, or we can just freehand without a tip on this
Let's
bag.
freehand without a tip.
Okay.
Hey, production value. Let's keep it moving forward. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm going to take the rest of this, and I'm just going to put this straight into the garbage.
Yep.
Which has a bag. Awesome.
I can use those scissors to cut the tip?
Yes. Bring that around. And I'm actually going to switch out my gloves because I'm going to be mixing the green next. Actually, no, I'm not going to mix the green next. I'm going to put the coupler in the second bag. Like a freaking genius. I hope I did it a good size there. So if you've never done icing bags before, they have these little couplers come in, and so now you got to be okay with the fact that the couplers are getting exposed to the dye, which I've already asked. So you can hear my coupler donor agreeing here, and the tip comes through, and I can actually pick a. Well, I'm going to use an actual kind of cakey one here. And squeeze that down, and the threading holds that on. So that'll be for the green. And I'll let you keep trying to work that in. Should I put on a glove and push it down with my hand?
Maybe is the spoon that you had originally still available, or is it in the garbage?
It's in the garbage, and it's very much got dye on it, as my hand does now, because I went and looked for that. Right.
Maybe I'll use this.
Here, use the spoon, and I'll mix the other one with the fork.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to have purple fingers for a few days or weeks or whatever. Okay, so I think one of the things I'm observing right away is that although the execution of putting the dye in is going to be really nice because of these bags, the process of getting it into the bag looks like it's going to be a big pain. So
yeah, I think what we need to do is load the bags lower in, like not let the color touch the edge of the bag.
Okay, that's going to be tricky to do efficiently, but we can give it a shot. So one of the things with disc golf is I do have a Instagram channel. I'm not doing this to Instagram, but if you're on Instagram, I am rob_b_disc_golf, and I'm got just under 200 followers. But honestly, you know what? If you're interested in following stuff on YouTube, or you're interested in following stuff on Instagram related to disc golf, I'm not the person you should be checking out locally. Chantel goes by the handle Miss Frisbees, or Miss Frisbee, on both Instagram and YouTube, and just putting out beautiful, beautiful content with analysis and starting to film rounds and stuff like that. Chris is working with her. Her fiance, and just amazing digital sort of thing. Now that's weird, eh? Look at that.
Interesting shade.
Like they said, it gets more intense, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we got the coupler, so we're ready for this, right?
Right. And if I don't add any more shaving cream, we're ready to go.
I'm going to try folding it out so that way there's a lip that won't have touched the excuse me, shaving cream.
Okay. Should we just go with that?
Yep.
Okay. Put that aside here. And then once I get this in, I can actually squeeze the cup.
Sure.
And crush the cup from behind. And then you get that out. Oh yeah, that's going good. Much better.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the bag, I've got the cup.
Yep.
Sounds like a song.
Okay.
And
that's better.
We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. Okay. So now, making sure not, there's all sorts of sprinkles here because I've already kind of messed with that. I've got the purple with a tip, right? This is cut?
Yep.
Okay.
I cut it really narrow so you have a lot of control. If it's too narrow, we can cut it wider. Oh, with honey, it's coming out of the top.
Ah, it's coming out of the top.
You gotta fold it over and keep it shut from the top.
Well, again, you're the icing expert. But what about the way the tip's coming? Is that too narrow?
Yeah, I think maybe it is.
Okay. Can you want to put that down and change out your gloves? Give me a little snip here. This is going to be trial and error. When this gets uploaded as a YouTube video, I might put it up as a whole kind of single shot video experience, or I might edit it down. How much time I'm willing to spend is the big variable, really. Okay, so take that, and right over here, give me another snip. Okay, so here we go.
Does that feel better?
I think so, but there's still going to be issues up top. This is going to be crazy.
It's
very squiggly.
Yeah, why is it so squiggly? Should we cut the tip bigger?
At this point, I feel like we should roll with it. And this is going to be a really weird kind of cool thing. So I think I overestimated the amount of dye that I was going to need. So we might do one right after and use these again. How many more gloves we got?
I don't know. You want a fresh pair?
I think I better. So this being the first time through, there are things in this process that are sloppy and are, I would just qualify as first time mistakes. The people who do this, that in the videos that I've watched,
You gotta hold it shut.
hold it shut like that. One of the things that you'll see that they do, oh that's going to be fun, is that they'll use eyedroppers. The grain's going to end up coming out a lot more significant here because we used the proper coupling on it. Okay. So, the original concept, which was a star, is no longer the case. You are right to laugh.
It's just abstract.
It's going to become even more abstract when we now start taking this. So what was originally going to be knife cuts outward are going to become kind of swirly patterns just to make different things happen. So we'll do the cut out. We'll see what happens here. And we may decide to bring more purple to bear as a result.
I think it's plenty as is.
Well, let's look at the relative size of the disc to that.
I think that's good.
It's going to be pretty good. One of the things is I'm uncertain how much the dye is going to spread in the white areas. So there's a couple of places I think I want to try a few splotchy bits. Okay. All right, so I've got my fabulous disaster of a pattern here. Thank God for abstract art. It's a good excuse for when things go wrong. And what we're going to do now is take our disc. We're going to roughly center it so that we use as much of the dye as possible. This disc has already been cleaned and acetone applied to it. Just a really light weight is going to gradually work this in. So I'm not actually going to push it in as per the videos that I have watched. I'll just clear the space around it. I've got a lot more iDye poly ready to go. And so one of the other things I think I might do is a small purple green swirl with this PDGA marker that I have. And yeah, I think that'll be it. And I will probably, since I did this live, I'll go live tonight at around they said 6 to 10 hours. It's almost 2 o'clock now, so maybe somewhere around 9 or so tonight I'll stream the rinsing. Okay, yeah, well, we're definitely going now. So this is the rinse and reveal for the disc thing that I did, or I dyed a couple of, this is the right thing? Yeah. I dyed a couple of discs. Well, I dyed one disc, which you saw in the previous video, but then I also added in a mini. I had my membership mini for the for PDGA disc this year, and so I'm literally just gonna rinse it all off and see how that went. I think I overdid it a little bit looking at it right now, because I do have a bit of a swirl pattern, but the purple is still fairly solid overall. I kind of like it. There's that one little weird dot there. That came out all right. I don't mind that. There, like so. A lovely little mini. But my first real dye job here is my Mako 3 that I've dyed from a sweetie. We did a purple and green. Looks like the green came out a little darker.
Gray.
Well, no, I think it looks green, but anyways, one of the neat things I'm seeing here is when I was setting it up, I got those little dots on the dye, and so that created like a little streak kind of thing. And so that's actually, that detail makes me very hopeful of the kind of the spotted sprinkled texture approach that I want to do next time. So I'm just going to dry these off, and I believe I'm playing around tomorrow, so I'll probably bring this out as my marker if I use that, and then I'm going to gift this very beautiful dye to my darling wife, because it's the first one I did. So cool.